Hello, happy week one, and welcome to ENG 282 International Film. I am Miss Collins, and I will be your guide for this semester. As you can tell, we are not meeting in the Humanities building today. Instead, we are going to meet online, and that's because of the COVID pandemic. I can come to campus and we can do some small group meetings, and I'm happy to entertain that idea, but I want the majority of our coursework to be online. I think it's more flexible for all of you. It's beneficial for me as I have two children who will be working from home as well. So please just kind of bear with us in this situation. That's not a good situation for anyone, and we'll get through it together. So I just wanted to take a few seconds to walk you through the Blackboard section of the course. So here's the announcements. I'm using the calendar link this fall, so you should be able to see when all of your items are due, and you can click on those. And so that should be a way to help you be more organized in an online class. Of course, I have my trusty old-fashioned calendar that keeps me organized, but this one, I also use the one on my phone, of course, so this one I think will be really helpful for us as a class. The syllabus is underneath that. I'll walk through a little bit of this in a moment. But let's look at course content. You won't see the McGraw-Hill Learn Smart tab just yet. I'm still working with the publisher on getting that perfect. I hope to have it in there by Wednesday. You will see the cultural component, and you will see the comparison contrast paper. Those two items will be visible to you. So you can kind of get in there and look around at those if you want to. They're not due for a little while. And I'll talk about the cultural component more when I go through the syllabus. So the other thing that, of course, we'll be spending a lot of time doing this fall are our film discussions. So we have discussion boards for those. There are currently 3 discussion boards that I have loaded up. The first one, which is just kind of getting acquainted, telling us a little bit about what your experience with movies has been and just what's your comfort level with watching international films and things like that, will be due this week. So sometime Monday, Tuesday, you want to get in here, read through this, and then you want to go ahead and submit your response to it, and then come back in a day or two, maybe later that evening, and respond to a couple of your classmates. So I think I've done a pretty good job of giving you a lot to think about here in the question section, in the prompt, as it were. But if you have questions, just email me. The number on the syllabus where you can reach me is a Google class number. So you should be able to even text me via that number. Okay, well, let's see. I'm trying to get back out. Blackboard's being a little bit stubborn. So let's go grab the syllabus another way. So here we go. Hopefully Blackboard, and it may not be Blackboard, it could just be my crummy Spectrum internet. Most likely that's what it is. So when you get the syllabus open, this is what it's going to look like. So as I mentioned earlier, there's the telephone number here, and that's a Google Voice number. So you can call me directly with this number. You can text me with this number. You can absolutely communicate with me via this number. You can also email me. I will definitely be checking my email multiple times per day. So you can absolutely know that you'll get through to me via email. I haven't used the Google Voice except just having my husband text me and things to test it. So if you use this number and I don't respond, send me an email and let me know, hey, something's up with your Google Voice number, and I'll get that fixed because we desperately need to be able to communicate. I'm available to you by appointment in my office on campus. So if you want to see me to walk through this one-on-one, masked and 6 feet apart, I'm happy to do that. You'll have to check in and do all the things that you would do any other place that you go right now. But if that's something you need / want, I'm more than happy to meet you over there. And like I said, as the semester goes along, my hope is that the situation will stabilize in Kentucky and maybe we can finish out the semester together on campus, even if it's just a couple of us and then the rest of you are still working online. So my hope is that we will eventually get to see each other face to face. Now I know from the roster there are a few old but wonderful faces in the class, so I'm very happy because you all know how I am, and you'll be able to hopefully help everybody else stay calm as I inevitably mess things up and have to fix them. So this is the syllabus. Your book is, it's a new book that we're using, and I'm really excited about it. It's called Film History, and this is what it looks like. And you'll notice mine is in a binder. So you can get this binder version if you want, but there's an e-version of the book in the class already. So you don't have to have this, and I mean, it's really a pain. I think it's just the publisher gave me this to see if I wanted to use the book. And I really like this text. It's very much like a history book, so when you read through it, there's a ton of dates and things like that. This is not really a film history class. It's just an intro to international film, but the reason I picked this book and the reason it has a historical scope is because the history of film really is an international story. The book I was using previously was very much focused on Hollywood, and it's difficult to kind of get a sense of global film production when you're really just kind of scrambling around in a book looking for a paragraph here and a paragraph there. So while this book's a little more dense and it does read a lot more like a history book, it does have a lot of really great examples, and we will be able to sort of see this evolution of film like around the globe. And naturally, World War I and World War II play a huge role in the global development of film, just like they played a role in the development of basically most things. So again, don't get hung up on the fact that it reads like a history book. I'm not going to be asking you tons and tons of questions like, what year did Edison film The Great Train Robbery? What year did Lumiere first film The Train? Those aren't things I'm going to ask, so I'm much more interested in sort of this big picture, but we'll be using this text to kind of get there. And if you love history and dates and those kinds of things, then the book's going to be right up your alley. So, as I mentioned, we're taking this historical approach due to the organization of the textbook, but really what we're wanting to do is sort of immerse ourselves in the cultures of the countries where we're going to be viewing the films. So while we will look at one or two older movies. When I say older, I mean from 1900s. Most of the movies we watch will be from 2000 and after. So we'll just have to kind of have the old films in the textbook, but then reviewing the sort of the legacy of those by looking at the newer movies. So I'm going to stop here with this video because I hit 15 minutes with Screencast-O-Matic, which is what I'm using here, and we're at 10. So I'm going to stop this one, and then I'm going to have a part 2 where I'm going to kind of go through the syllabus, and I'll talk about the cultural component and some of the assignments. So you'll want to go ahead and watch that, but you can go have a snack and then come back.